so everyone knows that we're here. I want to do that myself. Okay. And then I'm going to start the music. Here we go.
Broadcasting live from sunny California, it's 10 Minutes in Tinseltown with Ms. Meliz, a.k.a. Melissa Reyes. And now, from the left corner, your host, Melissa Reyes.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to 10 Minutes in Tinseltown. I'm Melissa Reyes, and tonight I have with me Suzette Valle. Is that how you say it?
Valle.
It is? Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
My brother was right. I have no accent. I'm all Valley. Anyway.
Close enough. Close enough.
Suzette, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And my co-host, Mark, is helping me out with the blog.
We met.
That's right. We're all from Entertainment New Media Network.
Right.
So we have Ashley, who I just interviewed, and Rebecca is with me too.
Rebecca.
Hanging.
Yeah, we're hanging. We're drinking wine. We're having a good time. And so I want to thank everybody for being here. And Suzette, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? But before you do, I just want to say that the main reason we're here to talk to you is because of your new book.
That's really cool.
It just came out. It's really cool. It's 100 movies to see before you grow up. And I am definitely going to be going through and watching each and every one and writing in my little stars and what I think about it. So I think it's adorable. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I did not go to school to be a writer. I studied finance, economics, and politics. And I ended up, I know.
No, you did.
Give me some more wine.
Right, and I ended up doing entertainment. I think we all fall into it at some point in our lives. I worked in high finance in London before I met my husband, and then we moved back to the United States after living in Mexico for a while. So I've lived in 3 countries and about 7 cities. I grew up in Mexico, and I left when I was 18. I am one of those privileged ones that was born of American parents in Mexico. So I have dual nationality, dual citizenship, and I'm bilingual and bicultural to the full extent of the meaning of those two.
Yeah, no kidding.
Words. So that's a little bit of my past. And then, like Ashley, I got married, had 2 children, and made a conscious decision to leave my career on the sidelines, and I picked up a new career as a mom, a wife, a parent, and in the meantime, I picked up writing, something I didn't know I could do.
Wow. Now, when you picked up writing, was that with your blog, or were you intent to write a book?
Actually, it was something that a friend of mine convinced me to do. She liked the way I wrote, and I started with just little opinions here and there that I would write. I didn't have a blog. She convinced me to start putting my opinions on a blog, and it was about parenting, something we become experts at as we are parenting.
So true.
We don't do it beforehand. We have no idea what that's about at all. So my main concern was media and how it affected children in general, and how it was affecting our values, our morals, the way we were looking at things. And I noticed that we needed to pay attention. We needed to pay attention to what our children were watching on television, movies, reading, wearing, commercials, things like that. And so I started to write about those things and on my blog. And then I started to write for a Hollywood publication called The Wrap. And posted a few of my rants, because that's what I felt I was writing about, were these general rants about situations. I think one of the very first ones I wrote, I launched when that publication launched back in, I think it's 2009.
Yeah, good.
I've been writing for them or with them, contributing since then. And I believe one of my first posts was when Chris Brown hit Rihanna. So I think, right, remember that incident. So I think that's the first thing I wrote about, something like that. And then I just started noticing all these things, and I guarded my children about how they looked at these things. It's inevitable. You raise children in a mainstream way, they are going to be exposed to all of these things. Mm-hmm. So it was just a matter of paying attention, explaining things, and not just letting them read about it or hear about it at school. So it was something that I tried to consciously do at home. And friends started to pay attention, and people started to read. And one fine day, Dr. Phil called and said, "Do you want to be on my show?"
Wow.
Couldn't believe. It's like, why me? Mm-hmm. And it was based on one post in particular from the Rep. And I had written about reality shows. And I don't know if you remember an incident called Balloon Boy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Remember that? That's when reality TV was the bread and butter of the entertainment industry. And it was what I called junk TV. It was very low quality. Families, I mean, they had, what was that? John and Kate plus 8. I mean, it was just going from bad to worse. So I came on the show to talk to a family who wanted a reality show. And they were two stunt parents, a mother and a father. Very interesting stuff.
Stunt parents?
Stunt parents, yeah. And I think, I don't think Dr. Phil puts his shows online, but there is a page and it describes the whole show. So that is on his website, or the show's website. Mm-hmm. So what they planned to do, when they did it, as far as their audition, if you will, because they did it on the Dr. Phil show and the casting director was sitting next to me. So they filmed themselves setting themselves on fire, kids and all.
Oh my God.
Right. I know. I don't know how many people watched that episode.
I remember that.
Attention Seekers. So if you're watching Dr. Phil and it comes on, it's about this crazy family. Anyway, I don't think they ended up getting any attention or a contract or anything, because it was pretty wild. But it went to show and demonstrated my point, that people were going to extremes to get on TV, because back then it was, you didn't require any talent. It was more, it even seemed like circus acts, very strange things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
So after that, I just kept writing, and I went more into movies and not so much paying attention to Miley Cyrus's antics or stuff like that. So I focused more on movies and the messages movies were sending. And one fine morning, I like to reference that movie, Julie and Julia. You know, she was blogging about food, following.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Bloggers, we all dream that that's going to happen to us. Well, it happened to me. So I woke up one fine day and had that email from a publisher out of the blue, probably like Ashley, where she had the casting people contact her and said, "Hey, we have a topic. We have an idea for a book, and we think you'd be great to write it. Would you like to author a book?" And it took me all of a split second to say,
Say absolutely.
Yeah, so it's been a whole year now. The book just published on Monday. Actually, yes, on the 19th. So it's
yesterday.
One day.
One day.
Yeah.
And I have it in my hot little hands. You're going to go far with this book. This is going to be a book that everybody's going to want. Everybody. I mean,
I hope so.
First of all, you know, it's just so colorful, and it's a great quality. The pictures.
It is really beautiful.
I have so many questions, but tell us about the artwork. My husband was asking, because it looks familiar in a way. So.
Oh, does it? Well, Quarto Publishing is a traditional publisher, and they're based out of England, but they have offices in New York and actually in Orange County. That's where their second largest office is. And they have an in-house art department. So I think they hired an illustrator because her name is on the inside cover.
Yeah.
So it's not someone that you know. They did put it together.
They do everything, yes.
Oh,
the only thing I had to do was write the content. All of that I did. And I suggested the format. I wanted the rating to be not just the letter rating or the MPAA rating, but explaining why it was rated PG. And if you leaf through some of the movies, you're going to see that they're PG for different reasons. So it's a little misleading. And that was something that I wrote about as well. The ratings tend to be a little misleading, and you think PG-13, oh, my child's 10, 11, that shouldn't be so bad. And then, whoa, this movie should have been R.
Yeah.
Right.
It happens to all of us. So that was one of the things I suggested, and all of the little information that you wish you had at a glance when you're trying to decide what to watch a movie, right? Family movie night. What a common thing. We all do it.
What should we watch?
Right. And it's one of the most popular, if not the most popular, bonding thing a family can do, or they do, or we do.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there thinking, now what do we watch? Now what do we watch? So I thought, blockbusters, mainstream films, you've probably seen them. But I tried to uncover little gems, or just put them in one place for you to open the book, and maybe your kids are of various ages, which makes it difficult. So you can leaf through the book and see, read about it a little bit, look at the rating, look at the length, the runtime. Some are 2 hours, some are an hour and 30 minutes. So it gives you all of that information at a glance, so you can choose a movie. And there's very few what I consider old movies. Maybe it's To Kill a Mockingbird is in black and white. And I forget what the other one. I think it's one of the Christmas films that's in black and white. Probably A Christmas Story.
Miracle on 34th Street?
Yeah, that was in here.
Probably that one. A couple that you're going to have to see at some point in your life, because those are just classics that you have to see, and you will see. But there's others that people watch for other reasons and that have become part of our pop culture. And I think I can name a couple, like The Goonies or The Princess Bride.
Yes.
Those are not movies that you're going to think about right off the bat. So I did a lot of research.
You sure did. I love that you have Rudy in here. You have... I noticed, I don't see it now, but I noticed that you have The Red Balloon.
Yes.
I mean, like movies that,
I remember that
one. Timeless movies. And then, of course, the ones that I mean, they're movies that I love. They really are, all of them. So. And
when you see them in one spot, it kind of even validates the fact that you like them.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you have to take into consideration our age. Some of these movies we saw when we were tweens and teenagers, and we've carried them with us, right? They've impacted us so much that we think they're probably even more modern than they actually are.
Yeah.
For example, What's Tomorrow? Back to the Future Day, right?
Right.
That's 30 years old.
That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a big day tomorrow. It's pretty cool. I was interviewed by CNET for a piece that they're doing tomorrow. So I'll be hopefully distributing that all over my social media.
Oh, yeah, good.
Nice.
I know. It's pretty cool.
Well, when you're done distributing 10 Minutes in Tinseltown.
Right after that.
So I'm so lucky to have you here. I know you're so busy. I mean, literally just came out yesterday doing all these shows and everything. Same with Ashley. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. It's so exciting. So what was the hardest thing about writing this book?
Coming up with a list was really hard. Yeah. How do you narrow down a movie list to 101 movies? So what I did was what any of you would have done. It's like, ask your kids, what's your favorite movie? Right?
Yeah.
So easy. I'll have my kids tell me. So they started rattling off Pocahontas and Emperor's New Groove and Hercules. And I thought, okay, I like those movies. But really? Okay. Yeah. So I love my kids. I wasn't that impressed. And those movies made an impression on them. And my children are now 23, and 20.
Mhm.
So I had to devise a better plan. So then I went online and looked at the American Film Institute, of course, the Academy Award, you know, the, oh my goodness, well, the Oscars.
Yeah, I
The
like how
official
you
name.
have. I like how you have the how many movies.
Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences, right? And the British Film Institute, and also, believe it or not, the National Archives. They have their own film archives, and so I cross-referenced movies on all those lists, and came down with a few that were on all of them, and that were family. Of course, they had to be family movies. And they had to be movies specifically for children 8 and up.
Yeah, I noticed that. I don't have so much feedback. Do you hear that?
Just right now, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know
I hate
why.
when there's feedback. I was gonna say I noticed that the Godfather trilogy is not in it.
Oh, no, I know. And neither is Grease or Hairspray or there's so many, but there were parameters that I had to stick to that the publisher had me stick to. So no R-rated. It stops at PG, and nothing that was too risque. So they nixed Hairspray and they nixed Grease, just because they weren't too comfortable with them.
Yeah,
Right.
it's good that they did that. It blows me away that middle schools do productions of Grease, but they do tone it down.
They toned it down. Yeah.
So weird.
So after doing all of that, I came up with, I don't know, a short list of about 500.
Wow.
That many?
Just
There's so many.
500.
It's just ridiculous. So I still kept cutting back and looking at pop culture influences. So that narrowed it down. So I had to have classics, award winners. If you noticed it, it's not a book about just Academy Award winners. That's a boring book. I mean, anyone can do that. So it's I think a good mix. And so picking the pop culture ones was the most difficult part, because there's a lot of kind of movies that have cult followings and they've been around for a while and people don't know about them, but they're so popular. They're still writing books about them. The Princess Bride.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Just things are still alive, like as if they were released just a couple years ago, but they're 20, 30. Who can tell me how old Star Wars is?
Right. 77.
Right.
That's from
Yeah, that was a long time.
That's pretty wild. So that's how fun movies are. They just stay with you, and they do impact us in a way and in a different way. Everyone has a love of a movie for a different reason. So I tried to include that for everyone, something for everyone. So it was difficult. I'm pretty sure, not everyone's going to be happy with everything. But the final, thing that helped me with it and feel comfortable with the list is that I sent it to Nell Minogue. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the Movie Mom. She is, this is one of her books. I mean, this is a tome.
Wow, yeah.
Wow.
And this is the movie. I think you can see
Mom Guide to
how it
Family
backwards,
Movies.
right? Nell Minogue is the Movie Mom, and she has a syndicated radio show. She's on nationally, and she does work for the Roger Ebert website for Common Sense Media. So she and I collaborated with the list. She approved it and gave me some really interesting observations about some movies she had reservations about, but she said, that's your list, and I'm just going to let you know this and this and that. But it wasn't about too many movies, so I left them there.
Okay.
And I'm just going to tell you that one of them was Home Alone.
She didn't like it?
She is not a fan.
Yeah.
I know,
I'm not a fan.
right?
Yeah.
But who isn't a fan of Home Alone?
Right.
Not a reason.
Funny.
I don't like the slapstick kind of comedy where people get hurt, but then they're not really hurt, but in real life that would really hurt them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Stuff
think
hitting in their heads and knocking them down.
Right.
And then
That was
also
one of the aspects.
a child, ambushing an adult. It's just like never appealed to me.
Right. And that movie came out of nowhere when it was released. It just surprised everyone. It was not intended as a huge blockbuster, yet it ended up in the Guinness Book of World Records as a the highest grossing film of, I think, that year or that summer or something. And it was completely unexpected.
That's why. So
Yeah.
cute.
Anyway, so there's movies. There's some gems. Would you like for me to read one?
I would love that. Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Shall we go for something really popular or something very obscure and something new?
I'm sure they all appeal to you, but just something that makes you smile when you look at it. Like you're so glad you wrote that.
Okay. So there's a movie from Iran in the foreign section. It's divided into sections too. So there's the foreign films, and there's about 5 or 6. And the way I chose these were, they crossed over from their countries into our entertainment arena. And not all movies do that. You can imagine the bounty of movies from each country, but only a few make it into our mainstream, movie scenarios. So this one is called Children of Heaven, and it's a very sweet story. This one was actually introduced to me by my daughter. My daughter, who is now a television and film major at NYU. And they show a bunch of movies at that school, and she came home at one of her breaks and she said, "Mom, we have to sit down and see this." I'm like, okay.
Wow.
I had no idea. So I'll read this one to you. This one was released in 1997, and it was released in 1999 in the United States. It's rated PG for some mild language, which is in Farsi, but it's subtitled. So there you go. And the story. In a very poor area in the south of Tehran, Iran, 9-year-old Ali picks up his sister's only pair of shoes from the cobbler and stops at the market on his way home. He puts the bag down to buy potatoes, but when he looks back down, the bag is gone. A blind garbage collector mistook the bag for trash. In a panic, Ali goes home and tells 7-year-old Sahara what happened and begs her not to tell their parents. He's afraid to make their father angry. They agree to find a solution on their own and spare their parents more grief. However, the problem is a big one. Sahara doesn't have another pair of shoes to wear to school. Ali and Sahara agree to share Ali's sneakers. Basically, the siblings each have one pair of shoes. So what does this tell you? The family is very poor. Sahara wears them to school in the morning, and at midday they switch so Ali can wear them in the afternoon.
Wow.
A few days later, a solution materializes. There's a running competition with other schools coming up, and the 3rd place prize is a new pair of sneakers. Ali just has to place 3rd, and the problem will be solved. Ali runs in the race, and the outcome surprises everyone. So it's a very sweet movie that I think is an eye-opener for kids in our society who we have everything. We're very lucky. We live in the land of plenty, but to see how other people live in other countries, and I'm pretty sure this could happen here, but it's a very sweet story, and it does have a good ending, but you see the trials and tribulations and how the kids cooperate. So here's a funny bit that I dug up with all my research. So the book and each page has let me see if you can see this. It's called a Did You Know section. So it's going to be...
We're following along in the book.
Oh, great. Okay. So for everyone else, there's going to be a Did You Know section, and it tells you a little bit of the behind the scenes or some tidbits. So here is a tidbit for this movie. The director chose Amir Farouk, and that's the boy, who had never acted before, after seeing him crying in his classroom because he forgot his notebook. Majidi, I think is how you pronounce the director's name, asked the boy why he was crying, and Amir lied and said he had amnesia, making him the perfect Ali. So there you go.
That's so
anecdotes like that will probably make you want to see the movies. Like, what? This kid is adopted? And there's great films like that. There's several films that have first-time actors and actresses, and a couple ended up being nominated for Academy Awards, which is absolutely amazing.
I love that you have listed how many awards that it's won, and just the way it's laid out is really neat.
Oh,
I love it. I love it. And it's now I appreciate you reading that too. Like, I want to go through and read each one, and but it has so many uses. Like, you could just choose by looking at the information around it, what you're going to watch or what you want to talk about. And I have to tell you that, ironically enough, I mean, we'd already had this scheduled for today, but I work at a middle school, and I was just asked to be a moderator for a movie club, and the kids are in 6th and 7th grade, and I have a TV in my office, and at lunchtime they come and they have an hour for lunch. So they wanted to see if they can use my office to watch a movie, and they watch half on one day and the other half on the other day during their lunch period. And there's a big group of kids, and the girls and boys, but mostly boys actually. And the movie they wanted to watch was Toy Story, and they know they have to be PG or G. And so, I've been telling them about the book. So I'm going to bring it in, and I have a feeling that they're going to be using this to choose the rest of the movies that they're going to watch throughout the year. So it's so exciting, but the timing of this is perfect, because we had the discussion about how are you going to choose what movies to watch, so it's so exciting. So thank you for that.
There's so much information and meaning to Toy Story beyond the movie. So when you're watching it with them, just tell them that is the very first full-length CGI movie. It's the first one. Full-length. Right.
I have to explain that to them, because I doubt that they realize that.
Yeah.
I remember when we saw it, we were so blown away by
right.
Different the animation was.
Oh, yeah. They teach that in film school. I learned from my daughter. I wrote the book, and she's getting the formal training that I did. And so I have to ask her everything, and she tells me all these things.
Well, how does that make you feel? Because really, you're an expert. And by doing all this research and putting it together and giving your opinion, yet, like you said, you don't have that formal training. How does that make you feel? Like,
I think I am lucky that I've had so much time to read. That's something I did when my children were growing up. And that's something that you probably have in you when you're in academia for so long. I have a master's degree as well, so I had to do a lot of research and reading for my thesis. So I read a lot. I really do love it. And it was such a joy to be able to read about movies for a year. And I had to watch movies again to be able to write about them and get a feel for why they were important. So I don't feel like I missed out on that formal training or education, because we can teach ourselves a lot of things every day. So I feel I'm learning, like I have a new major even.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, never stop reading. And you can, having a degree and education just means that you can actually branch out and try other things. I mean, Ashley, look at this woman. She is multi-talented. I'm so impressed. I'm so glad I've met her, and I'm just blown away. But it's true. You can do so much when you put your mind to it. And of course, I, Ashley, cannot sing to save my life. That's one thing maybe that I could probably use some formal training with. But other than that,
how about dancing? Do you want to be on Dancing with the Stars?
Right. Now, yeah, she's going to put her dance. Oh, my goodness. How fun.
No, you. I think you should be on Dancing with the Stars, too. You'd be great.
I don't think so. I don't know about the dancing, but maybe they can teach me.
So I want everybody to be on Dancing with the Stars, because I like that show too. I can't clean or play sports. Me either, Ashley. Ashley says she can't clean or play sports. Well, does anybody here have a question for Suzette, either about the book or about her blog? Tell us a little bit more about your blog, because it's really movie related too now, right?
It is. It's shifted.
So
it used
which
to be
came
about
first?
all these rants about media and all of that. And now really it's just a family entertainment website. It's called Mamarazzi Knows Best, right? A play on words, paparazzi, mamarazzi.
I like that, Mamarazzi.
Isn't that cute?
Cute.
Yeah.
And so now I am contacted, as we all are when we're bloggers, with by PR firms to try and put the word out for their events or special, movies and theater. And I'm very lucky. I get invited to our local theater all the time, so I'm considered press for some things.
Yeah.
I've covered red carpets now. I've been to quite a few of them, and it's a lot of fun. I have to prepare and have questions and interview actors and actresses, and it's a lot of fun. That totally unintended road that I took because of a blog, really. So it's never too late to start one. That's what I tell everyone. Just do it.
Yeah. Okay, so we do have a question over here from Megan. Did you wish you did have did you wish you did have more creative freedom with the art of the book, or are you happy it was under publisher control and you didn't have to worry about it too much?
Great question. And yes, I am so glad the publisher did all of the artwork, because that's another talent I lack, is drawing. So stick figures, it would have been for me. so this is absolutely, it's gorgeous. And let me show you my favorite part. I don't know that you noticed the pull-out page on the back.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yes.
That's cool.
It's so neat. In fact, I don't know if you noticed, I did a picture of it on Instagram. I was trying to get people to guess what they were.
I saw that, but that's every character.
All the characters.
So it's 101 characters that they drew specifically for each movie.
That is really clever.
I think it's just fabulous. They've done such a great job with the book, with the art. I had no idea when they sent me the cover, which was about 8 months ago. The cover was determined very, very early on. And they told me that this was going to be this gold foil. I could only imagine if it doesn't come through on a PDF. I was just like, wow, really? I love it. So Hollywood, the glitter, right? Such a girl.
Yeah, it really is. It's adorable. And I love all the little icons on the side.
It's just like little apps. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very attractive. It really is. And I could see, like anybody would want to pick it up and go, "Whoa, look at this. It's awesome." It really is. You really did a great job in writing it. And kudos to you for just trusting with the publisher,
That takes, a very special personality to deal with publishing. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I learned a lot. I read a lot. Let me see. Yeah, look, for my contract, I read a lot. I bought a book. Oh.
Negotiating with the giants.
Yep.
Wow.
I was to negotiate with my publisher so that I wouldn't be so naive and blind and all that, because it's not that they're trying to take advantage of you. It's just that you don't know. So if you don't ask, they move on so fast and they move so quickly. They assume you know, and they assume you do your research. They have no time to hold your hand. They answer very few questions, and if they do, they're curt and concise, and you have to read between the lines and get to work. So I hit the ground running. I was learning as I was doing it and writing it. So it was a good exercise because it was like a job. I treated it like a job. I wrote from 9 to 5 for 4 months straight. That's the way to do it. That's how you write a book, which was on my bucket list to write a book.
Yeah.
Not this one, but a book. And so I'm glad that it was like a forced thing, and it was so fast. It's a year. And they told me it's going to take a year from you sign your contract to the day it publishes, and it was practically to the day yesterday. Yeah. But I have really good news. Okay. So it's available on Amazon, and it's available on barnesandnoble.com, but it's also available at Barnes and Noble stores. So if anybody walks in and you see it, post it on Twitter, and yay! Yeah, I'm so excited. And
that's awesome.
So that's news number one. And news number 2 is that today I called and they told me that the first run has sold out.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
4,000 books.
Oh my God.
That's
So,
amazing.
I just found that out today, so I'm like, yay!
You heard
I'm so
it.
excited. I know. So it's a good day, Melissa, for you to have me on your show.
It is. That's fantastic. Everybody tweet that. It's so cool. I'm just so proud of you. You totally deserve it. It's a great book. It really is. 4,000 books sold the first day.
Well, I think it's been for pre-order.
Yeah.
It was on pre-order for, I don't know, 4 months. So it probably sold and they shipped. And
Right.
at the time
And
it was
now they're gone.
the actual, launch date or publication date. That's the amount that was already in their warehouse and gone. So a second run has been ordered and is due in the first week of November, which is another 4,000. So let's sell them, guys. Let's sell them.
So should people go to your Amazon site and
They can go anywhere they would like. If they want to
do a review? Did you notice I did a review?
I sure did, and I think I tweeted it out and everything.
Oh, good.
Yes, thank you. Oh, on Amazon. Yes, I saw that. Thank you.
Yeah. So if I think Jay just came in the room. Thank you, Jay, for coming. This is the book that Suzette wrote that came out yesterday. It's called 100 Movies to See Before You Grow Up. And it's a really great book. You should get this for your kids. It's fantastic. And it has this wonderful artwork. And it has a little synopsis of each book, of each movie. I'm getting some feedback. But anyway, you should get it. It's really awesome. So congratulations.
Thank you. But if anyone wants a signed copy, they can just email me and we'll arrange it.
I have a signed copy.
Yes, you do.
I'm so lucky. I had to have my sister-in-law translate, though, because I didn't recognize the words. I don't know Spanish that fluently.
You're kidding me. With a last name like Reyes?
I'm married to a Filipino guy. That's I know, but she told me what it said, and I was like, oh, it made me feel so good. Thank you. I mean, it wasn't just with love. It was with care.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, that was so sweet.
Warmly. Yeah.
Warmly. Well, it was really wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to give you a hug right now.
You're so
heart.
sweet.
So I want everybody to go to your website and go look at your Amazon page, right?
Yeah.
And get the book. And then take a picture and post it on all the websites and social media.
Yeah.
And connect with Suzette, because I have her on MsMeliz.com. You can come and get all the ways to connect with Suzette and see what's going to happen next. What are you going to do next? You're going to write the book?
Oh, gosh. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I've got to now. Well, next I'm doing the marketing. So the next 2 months are going to be signing events and a little bit of I'm not going to call it publicity because I'm not going on television or anything like that, but it's a lot of promotional things. So I have 3 events lined up, and so we'll see how that goes. And from now until Christmas, we got to sell.
Yeah.
Is it going to be is it going to be local things that maybe I could come to?
Oh, yes. Oh, I'll put it all on social media, and wherever you are, there's going to be one up in North County. And keeping your fingers crossed, there might be one at a very familiar store, but it's a smaller store. I can't say too much yet, but there might be one up in LA or Santa Monica area or something like that. So they just requested a copy today. So I'm like, yep.
So North County, you're in San Diego. So you're talking about North County, San Diego.
Yeah. So it's, I think it's Carmel Valley or Scripps Ranch, something. Yeah, I'm very south. I'm only 7 miles from the border here.
Really? Okay.
So I'm practically in the most southern part of San Diego.
Awesome.
Yeah. I can see it from the window. And I can.
You can see Mexico from here, right? Oh, my goodness. Well, do you have any questions for me or about 10 Minutes in Tinseltown? Are you?
Sure. So we're fellow authors now, and that puts us in a very special category, the category that we sat for hours and hours and hours writing. it was a lot of work to sit down, concentrate, and do it. And you have a family too. You have a family. So how did you balance it, and the show and the blog and your
And working.
And I work a full-time job too. You know, I cheated. No, what I did was very different than what most people did, and very different from your experience. But what I did is I had wanted to write a book, and I had a lot of ideas for books that I wanted to write, and I had started a lot of books, and I saw a webinar on how to publish your book, self-publish your book, and I took it, and I'm hearing feedback, so sorry if I sound distracted. I don't know how to make that stop. But anyway,
I can hear you. Oh, nope, lost you. Let's see.
I muted myself. Okay.
There you go.
Well, anyway, so what I did is I watched this webinar, and the guy on the webinar said, if you have a body of work, if you've written 50,000 or more words, then you already have a book. So you can, if you had a title for the book and a concept for the book, and you have the body of work, you could start telling people or putting out there that you're the author of the forthcoming book, whatever it is. So put it on your social media, put it on your business cards, put it on your email address, your response. And so I did that. I named my book. I took all the blog posts that I had written that were all my own content, no sponsored post or anything, but all just purely from my heart, that I had hoped to one day make a book. And I wanted to see how many words I had. And I had over 70,000 words already. So I made a title for it. I put it out there, and I set a date for which I would self-publish. And then I set to work on deciding how to self-publish it and edit it myself. And I did everything myself. I even did the cover art.
Oh,
so
the editing is tough.
The editing was tough. My husband helped me. He did really do a lot. Yet he had to battle me because I didn't want to do a lot of changes because it was already published, technically, because it was on the blog.
That's what we struggle with. Yeah.
So,
changes.
But I did change it around a little bit, and anyway, so I put it all together, and I made the book, and I got it out, and I got it done, and I did it by the deadline, but I pushed myself so hard to do that because I had already put it out there that I was going to have this published date. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I mean, literally those last few days, I was in tears every night. It was so much stress. I couldn't sleep. I was really, but still had to get up and go to work in the morning and still had to do all those other things. So it was an interesting experience, but I learned a lot. But more than anything, because I did it all on my own, I learned, that it was really besides having my children, I think the first thing that I saw to completion, where I felt like I reached that goal. I did that, and it was such a wonderful feeling. And then I have something so tangible to show for it, and it feels really good. And now I do want to do another one. So it'll be great. And then after that, the podcast was born. And this was 10 Minutes in Tinseltown was born because I was on an interview, much like you are now, about my book. And I started talking about doing a podcast, and I realized that was the dream I wanted to do. So here we are. So things come around.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. It is something that you forced yourself to do from beginning to end. And it seems easy, but it really isn't.
Yeah. So like you answered that call and you said, yes, I'll do that. You make a commitment. And I did that same thing, but it was just to myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been really easy to just say, I'm not going to finish it. I'm not going to do it. So
but you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was exciting.
And now you've made a dent in the world. There's something that you're leaving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wrote it for myself. I wrote it for my kids. My son's in the room. It's kind of awkward, but we'll see if he ever reads it. But maybe Katie will read it for you. So, but it's really, my book's similar to your book in that you can pick it up and read it from anywhere. You don't have to read it beginning to end, but if you do, you get an idea of
what
goes through. Yeah.
We should read, those are, triumphs. And when everyone wants to hear or find out how you did it or what happened, there's so many different, everyone has a different story and how they got through whatever it is that they had to.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, the best part is when I get people contact me and say, I've had your book for a while and I just started reading it and I can't believe how much I understand what you went through, or they're in tears because they didn't realize that that's what it was about, or, it really made a difference for them. And, it was, that's to me, especially because I'm a life coach and it has to do with finding your, purpose in life, really, it really makes a difference for me. It makes me feel really good that, people could get something out of it. And, but I wish I had thought of your book.
And I didn't even think about it. It was the publisher's idea.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
But tell me, or tell us how you got permission for your title.
Oh, yeah.
I remember reading about that and I thought, that is so fabulous.
Okay, so I was really concerned that the reason nobody had come up with this title, because I researched, you do, to see, and a lot of the things I thought of had already been used or used many times, but I really wanted this title, but I couldn't find anything with this title. And it's taken from the song True by Spandau Ballet, which is
that's one of my favorite songs. Yeah. Yep.
It was one of my favorites. I love Spandau Ballet. It was, this was from actually I had a quote from the song Gold in my senior yearbook. I mean, that's how much I was like this really always quoting this song. So I thought I should get permission because I didn't want to have any problem with it. And so I researched and found the, production company or whatever for Spandau Ballet and for Gary Kemp. And I sent an email and I got an answer saying, yes, you can use it. And just please do us the kindness of adding, or the favor of adding this to your, cover. And it was, "This is the sound of my soul," taken from the lyrics of the song True, printed with kind permission of Gary Kemp. And so, that was kind of cool.
How cool is that?
I know. And so then I tweeted him about it and he answered, and that was really exciting. And so even though I don't think he really had much to do with the decision of me using it, it was his publishing company.
That's okay.
He did acknowledge that, and that was a thrill of my life. So that was exciting.
Yeah.
And
you
then
are forever now intertwined.
Yeah, I guess so. A little bit of history there. And so it's kind of neat. But then I found out really that with titles of books, there is no real copyright. It was just really a matter of, making sure I covered myself and to have that, respect, I think, for the, well-known common, title. But yeah, really, you can have lots of books mean the same thing. There isn't an issue with that. It's when you're quoting a person what they say, I think. I don't know. I probably made a lot of mistakes with my book, but I learned a lot. And that was one thing I just didn't want to fudge on because it was just exciting, actually.
Yeah. Oh, what a great accomplishment. Just doing that with a title. You could have come up with your own and just but here you have something that most of us know where that title comes from, those lyrics. So it's really neat. I love that. I remember reading about that on, we belong to several groups on Facebook, and I read about it. Like, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, thank you.
I had no idea that I'd be writing a book.
Oh my God. Well, thank you, Suzette. I mean, that's why I said in my blog post about you, you're always so supportive, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, if you see, if the book actually has a whole playlist, because I talk about a lot of songs throughout it, and I do write about a lot of songs. So it's interesting because I ended up meeting a man here on Blab, or actually Meerkat, named Tommy Spiro, and he wrote a book similar in that it's called Messages in the Music, and he took songs, and he has each chapter is a song title, but then he writes his own messages that he gets from listening to that song. So every chapter kind of has little, feelings about life. It's a really neat book. And so we connected on many levels with that, having that experience. And, you can have a playlist and listen to the song while you're reading his thoughts on it. It's kind of a neat idea. I think people are just coming up with a lot of really neat ideas and ways to share their message. So what's your message, Suzette? What do you want people take away when they read your book? Adults, like, how do you?
You mean like from my book or the experience?
Yeah. No, like, what is your message? What's their what's the takeaway that you want people to have?
I guess the main thing, I'm going to steal it from a little article that was in here, and I'm all prepared for you. See?
Okay.
There's this local magazine in my little hometown. It's all like 20 pages. So they did a little article on me, which was really fun, and about the book. And the title, and when she interviewed me, it kind of brought it home. She said, Mother and Resident Author's Book. And I think, to me, it's such a wonderful thing for other moms, and especially moms that want something meaningful. And right now I'm an empty nester, so it landed at the right time. I was very sad when my first child left home, and then my girl left me too, and then it was really bad, but only for like a month, because then the book thing started in October and she had left in September.
Yeah.
So
relate to that.
We have options, and I think I want parents, moms especially, to have some hope and maybe a goal. If you put your mind to it, you can start it when you have your kids, but then go full on when you're back to being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how I feel now. I'm like back to myself. It's odd, but that's how I feel. Like, oh, my old self, I'm back.
Yeah, it's like you're never off the job. You're always a parent, but that part where you're raising the child to an adult, and now they're an adult, so now you're like, okay, that part of my job is pretty much done. You're never going to stop parenting, but
right.
You made it. Everybody's still around.
Right. Capable citizens, and they're trained, and I had time to do this a whole year without having any major crises with either of them. So, it's a good thing. Here's a little anecdote. I used to travel a lot with work before I got married, in international travel. I lived in London, and my market was Spain and France.
Wow.
For me. But it was fabulous. So I've been married 25 years. This year we celebrated 25 years.
Okay, wow.
And I took my first trip by myself for 14 days to go see my daughter, who's in Paris now. But it was the first one in 25 years by myself for that long.
Yeah.
You wanted to... That was weird. It was so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if people understand it, but it was very strange to just, I'm free. Nobody depends on me. I can go, pick up and go. And husband's like, see you later, dog, whatever. I'm out of here. It was so cool.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I've done little trips, but nothing like that.
Little ones, me too. A couple days here.
4 years too. So That's crazy.
You're almost there.
Yeah, I'm almost there. My oldest son is actually watching right now. I think he's here, Julian. He's got the one with the smirk on his face right there. But you know what? Everything that you're saying is reminding me of a conversation he and I had. And just so you know, Julian, I don't always talk about you on my show, but just so happens that, we had this little conversation, and I was telling him how proud I was of him and everything. And he was kind of like asking for reassurance. I can't remember what it was, but I remember that I said, you've already exceeded all of my expectations, and now the rest is on you. And he is like, thanks, Mom, and it just was such a neat point in our relationship where, I can't wait to see what you do next. And because he really has, I only wanted to see him get to college. I don't even care. I mean, of course I care if I finish, and my husband always says, don't say that, but I really don't care if he finishes. I'm just so proud of him for getting as far as he's gotten. And I'm proud of me for getting him that far. I really am.
That's right. That's right.
So, we did it, kid.
Yeah.
And now I have a second one in college and a third one's in high school. And, everybody's shaping up to be great.
Yeah.
I do have my plans for what happens next. It's going to be hard, but I do, you know, I've put a lot of the effort into, like, just like you, like, dove into other interests, because people ask me, how do you have all that time? I'm like, well, what do you think I was doing? I was a soccer mom and a football mom and a lacrosse mom, and we were going to games and all that stuff. And now I don't have that. I've found things to do.
Exactly.
So,
all of a sudden you've had your time back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I was very much like you. I'm like, what do I do? You know, what would I have done before? Yeah. And I don't want to go back. I just want to go forward.
Yes. Forward. So, exactly. Something
that's
new.
Why you're a superstar, Suzette. To tell you why you're such a superstar, you're a total rock star in my world, because you get it. You have done so much, and you've really proven what a great mom you are. Now, forever, you're the mom who recommended the best movies and why we should watch them. And that's
I watch a lot of movies now too. Yeah. So I told you.
No, what?
In the questionnaire,
yes.
You asked, like, what is my pastime now?
Yes.
And that's what my husband and I did. We rounded up our emptiness friends, and a group of 8. We go to a movie every Friday, and we go to dinner afterwards. And like I said, we're open table film critics, because we make our reservation and we go to a movie and we go to dinner, and it's so great. I mean, it's just nice.
Videotaping that, and you would have your own reality show right there.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Wouldn't that be funny? So, well, that's totally funny. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm getting tired. It's been 3 hours.
You've been doing it.
Our time is over. It's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
That went by fast.
I know. I feel like I didn't really ask you any questions, but it was so nice to just visit.
That's okay.
You shared so much.
Yeah, we got the word out. People look for it at Barnes & Noble, or buy it on Amazon, or email me, and you can get a signed copy for Christmas for your cousins, nephews, nieces, sons, daughters, grandkids.
Will there be a Kindle version? That's a good question. But if you did get the Kindle version, you wouldn't get the full effect, because it is.
You want to get the real thing.
This is.
They told me they were going to do one, and I don't know. I haven't checked if they did or didn't or what, but it's probably going to happen, because they did already talk about it.
Like she just said, I'd love to get it for my daughter's Kindle. That's how kids read books and stuff.
Yeah.
I love to collect books. I love to collect signed books. So thank you so much, and it's beautiful. So, well, I hope we can see you again, and welcome to, come anytime on Tuesday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. normally. Today we have a special exception. We went to 9, but please come to 10 Minutes in Tinseltown. We're here every Tuesday night on Blab, and most Tuesday nights on Meerkat as well. So, you can watch the replays or see us. We have one more show this month. It's my next Tuesday is my Halloween episode.
Oh, how fun.
If you went to YouTube, you can see last year's Halloween episode, or if you're in the green room, you can see it there. It was a lot of fun. I did full costume and character, and interviewed an expert from the horror film genre. So I have a lot of surprises in store for this year, and it's going to be a costume party. So if you come to Blab, at least put a little, fangs on or something to represent Halloween, and it's going to be a blast. And then I'm on hiatus for 2 months. I'll still be here every Tuesday night. I haven't figured out quite how I'm going to do it. Maybe it's just going to be conversation, or I might play replays or something, but I'm going to take that time to do editing, so everything will be on YouTube and iTunes in January. So we've got a lot of great content, a lot of amazing interviews. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of it, and sharing about your book. And thank you for hanging with me for the full 3 hours. Rebecca's been here, so it's by my side, and it's been amazing. So I can't thank you enough, Suzette.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. It was my honor and privilege to do this. It was really fun.
You're so sweet. You really are. And so I'm going to play the music, 10 Minutes in Tinseltown music. And thank everybody for coming to 10 Minutes in Tinseltown with Ms. Meliz. I'm Melissa Reyes. This is Suzette Valle, my guest author who just wrote this wonderful book, 101 Movies to See Before You Grow Up. Before you grow up. Make sure you see them all. And I have my friend here, Rebecca. And thank you for being here with me. And have a great night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye. Bye, Julian. Bye, Katie. Bye, Ashley. Thanks for sticking with me. Bye, Meredith.
It's way past her bedtime.
That's Lido. Bye, Lido. Bye, Abdul. Nice. Oh, Abdul with the hearts. You're so sweet. Thank you. Have a great night. Henry. All right. Well, Suzette, thank you so much. Take care, okay? Good luck tomorrow, and I'll be watching.
Okay. Thank you.
Next.
I will let you know. You'll see it all over social media, whatever happens. Yeah.
I'll be happy to see. And thank you, Meredith, for being there the whole time. Good night, Lido. Oh, next song is about to start. I guess I better stop. Time to eat dinner. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.